Hello and welcome ladies and gentlemen to another Randomised Gaming Indie First Impressions. And I'll be your host for this video, Random Gamer Riven. And in today's Indie First Impression video, I am going to be looking at Logjamers, or more specifically the demos of Logjamers, in the form that there's actually two versions of the game coming out. There is a Steam PC release which just actually got Kickstarter funded for a PS4 and Xbox One release, I believe, and they're also doing a retro-themed NES release. So I'm going to start looking with the retro-themed NES release, and you can see it in the background running now. Just so you're aware, this is being done by Megacat Studio, and we previously looked at their scrolling beat-em-up Coffee Crisis. Now, if you haven't already guessed from the title alone, Logjamers is a homage to the NEOGEO game Windjammers, and Windjammers was basically a frisbee throwing game where you had to score points by getting the frisbee past your opponent. Logjammer is pretty much the same gameplay style, the only difference is the characters ride logs in water, and they've also decided to replace the frisbee with a slightly more dangerous hand axe. Although, fortunately, you can't go around decapitating each other or chopping off arms and limbs with the hand axe, so don't expect this game to be like Mortal Kombat in that regard. So Logjamers really does play almost exactly like Windjammers. The only difference in this NES version is the perspective is sort of more top-down rather than the left-to-right seen in Windjammers and the PC version of Logjamers. So basically, as you can see, the aim is simply to hurl the axe into the opponent's goal areas. Now, I have to admit, playing this demo of the NES version, there's one thing that struck me very quickly, and that is A, how difficult it is, and B, the speed of the axe being thrown. You just do not have time to catch it unless you're precision point on, and it feels weird, but the type of difficulty shown in this demo feels that I'm playing a late stage AI opponent. It doesn't feel like I'm playing the first round opponent in game, so I'm hopeful and hoping that this is just the sort of late end AI they've given you in the demo, not the early AI, because this is incredibly difficult and the axe moves so fast. If you compare the frisbee to Windjammers compared to the axe in the NES version of Logjam, the frisbee in Windjammers is far slower at the beginning. The axe here is just whop. You really have to be on the ball. I did eventually pick up some loopholes in the AI where I was able to get around it very quickly and quite easily, but it did feel like I was having to look for flaws in the AI in this single player mode because the AI is so stringently set at this level. There is another issue I noticed as well, where it was quite easy to sit in one corner of the screen and simply throw the axe up, and half the time, in fact most of the time, the AI will simply throw the axe back to you as quickly as possible. However, there's also a flaw with the AI. I noticed that when a power-up appeared, the AI by default would go straight to pick up that power-up, and of course if that power-up was on the other side of the screen, you just simply waited till it went over to the other side of the screen, threw the axe straight up, and instant goal. Occasionally it would deviate and do something a bit different, but 9 times out of 10 it would fall into the same trap, the AI, which was slightly worrying this early on, that I could spot that flaw so quickly. And one thing I feel is that Windjammer enthusiasts, even veteran players, probably won't be picking up the NES version. They'll probably more be going for the Steam version, and I did feel the difficulty in this NES version was just simply too hard at this point. Aside from that, it's pretty much a spot-on representation of what you would say Windjammers should be on the NES. In fact, Logjamers plays very well. It's very smooth to play. The axe throws quick, because the axe throws a little bit too quickly, but you can move around really nicely. Everything seems to work quite well in how it actually plays, so the controls are flawless, and literally it is just throwing axes around really quickly. Although I did feel you didn't quite have enough time to respond to it, and I think they should probably slow it down at least at this level. Of course, they may well implement a difficulty, as at the minute there isn't a difficulty selection in the demo. So this could just be an issue with the NES demo and not with the finished NES game. I should actually say you can now purchase the finished NES game from Megacat Studio's own website. And we've included a link to Megacat Studio's website in the video description. Although I do feel for this NES version you'll probably find more retro enthusiasts will be picking it up, and they probably won't be as good a Windjam players as sort of veteran Windjam players. However, if you want something like Windjammers on the NES, I do suggest trying out this demo because it is very solidly playing from what I played from this demo. I mean, there's not a huge amount here in this demo, but it does play well. And if you fancy playing basically Windjammers on NES, this is going to be right up your street. So without further ado, we'll jump into the all-singing, all-dancing PC version. Now, as you can see, the PC version graphically does look an awful lot better. One thing I should say with both demos is that they've only got a stage each. I've seen a official trailer for both and they've got lots of different stages and characters, but the demos of both limit the characters you can play as, and in the NES version it limits the opponents. In this PC Steam version I've actually had about 5 or 6 different opponents, so most of the opponents are in this Steam demo, and of course you can download this demo now on Steam. So you can see here the PC Steam version goes for the left to right view, so you do actually get a bit more time to maneuver. The axe gameplay wise is still being thrown very quickly, which does mean you have to adjust a bit, but there's a bit more leg room to play around with. And I must admit, I do think, for me, I think that because there's a bit more space, I kind of felt the NES version was a touch claustrophobic, whereas this PC Steam version you get a lot more room to play around it. Admittedly, of course, the NES version is running at a lot lower resolutions, but I did feel the HUD perhaps in the NES version took up too much space, whereas I feel the HUD in this PC Steam version is much cleanly integrated, and I must admit, I've really been enjoying this PC Steam version. I think of the two, for my money, this PC Steam version so far seems the better version. So gameplay is of course the same as Windjammers here. Basically throw the axe around, aim for the victory points. Again, there's no real difference between how either version plays. Although I did seem to think there were a few more power-ups in this PC version, and it's a bit clearer to know what the power-ups did. You also get super attacks, so if once you've charged them up you can do a super attack that's almost pretty much, if you aim it right, will guarantee you a goal. It's certainly fast and furious, and it does take a little bit of time to get used to. I think even certainly on the NES one, I lost a few rounds first time round, but once I sat down and actually worked out how the II played and the best place to take the opportune axe shot, so when you're aiming to the sort of, I found it was a good idea to try and get the opponent to one side and then throw it to the opposite direction of them, so that way they didn't have that much room to maneuver, and the axe would quickly get away from them. So you'll see me in this footage. Generally, I waited till they came down to the lower part of the screen, then I'd throw it to the top right corner. And usually if you did that right, about 5 times out of 10, you'd get the 5-point score as well, I found. Very nice looking and very clean scrolling as well. Besides from a couple of minor issues, generally it's been a very smooth and enjoyable playing experience. The demo for the PC Steam version doesn't actually have much interface, it just literally launches you straight into game. But when the game releases, there will be a selection of different playable characters for you to choose from. So overall, these demos are actually quite impressive. It's a very nice homage to Windjammers. Indeed, there aren't many games that remotely play anything like Windjammers, so certainly if you're a fan of Windjammers or arcade playing sports titles, then Logjamers may well be the game for you. The PC version of Logjamers is set to release in February 2019. So summing up, really, I've actually quite enjoyed my time playing both demos. Admittedly, they do need to slightly tweak the difficulty, and hopefully there'll be options to do so in the finished versions of the game. That was the one thing I do feel these demos, if you play them right now and if you find it a bit difficult, you may be put off by it fairly quickly. So I think they might want to adjust the difficulty slightly, make catch steers. But other than that, I do think there is a really nice homage to Windjammers, and if you like this type of game, just look at it. Try the demos for yourself, and if you do, think about supporting an independent developer. That's all I can really say, and I've included, again, I will just reiterate, if you want to try these demos for yourselves, the links will be in the video description. So as always, on behalf of Randomised Gaming, thank you for watching this video, and as always, if you like our content, please do hit that like button and please do subscribe as always.